The show, a breathtaking drama. The location, a river in Africa. The main protagonists, crocodiles. Supporting actors involved, everything Africa's wildlife has to offer. The expansive stage of the Masai Mara in Kenya is an ideal location for some stunning combats. Heavyweight conflicts and touching family scenes. The show centers on the age-old theme of the hunted and the hunters, life and death. But none of the other protagonists can match this one, the killer that comes out of the water. Hardly any other region in Africa is home to a greater multitude of animals than the Masai Mara. This region in the southwest of Kenya is the land of the Masai. These are semi-nomadic pastoralists who live off their herds of cattle and are known to be excellent warriors. The Masai Mara National Park lies in the southwest of Kenya in East Africa and borders on the Serengeti in Tanzania. When the dry period begins in June in the southern Serengeti, innumerable herds of wildebeest join up to migrate over 800 kilometers to the Masai Mara, forever on the lookout for fresh pastures. During this migration, they have to cross several rivers. The greatest obstacle, and one that has to be crossed, is the Mara River. It flows from Kenya through the Masai Mara region and continues on across the border into Tanzania and the Serengeti. At first sight, it may not look particularly threatening, and it is indeed the main artery that keeps the Masai Mara alive. These heat-sensitive hippos rely completely on the river to secure their very existence in the savannah. Nowhere else does the vegetation offer such a wealth of food for the elephants. Depending on their size, these pachyderms also require from 70 to 250 litres of drinking water a day. And nowhere else can lions choose from such a well-stocked table, provided they're ready to wait a bit. The Mara River is the only river in this region that carries water all year round. Only here can the yellow-billed stork trawl the bottom of the river shallows for an endless supply of fish. Only here can the heavy-hoofed animals of the Masai Mara find drinking water in plenty. The banks are often crowded with wildlife for that very reason. That slip could have ended in tragedy. Because for many animals, the Mara River that meanders for nearly 400 kilometers through the savannah is the most hazardous river in the whole of Africa. Because of these fellows. Crocodiles spend the majority of their lives just lying around in their armored skins, doing nothing. As cold-blooded animals, they can only regulate their body temperature through their own activities. They have to enjoy extensive sunbathing sessions to enable them to carry out their sorties underwater. The webs between their toes on the rear feet help them to swim. Their tail, that makes up around half of their 6-meter length, is what drives them. But it can only work if the animal's operating temperature has been reached. If it falls below 30 degrees, the reptile will return to land to warm up. Half submerged, half above the waterline is a popular position. That way one can keep warm and look as harmless as a large piece of wood. But can mutate into an underwater torpedo in an instant. At the moment, though, there is little prey to go for, so a more leisurely pace is perfectly acceptable. Walking along the riverbed uses less energy than those powerful flicks of the tail. What looks like boredom-induced yawning is in fact temperature regulation. By opening its mouth, the reptile prevents its brain overheating. If it's still too hot, it moves into the water. A lunchtime doze underwater is only possible for a crocodile if the water is very warm. The geographical range of their existence is restricted to tropical and subtropical regions. They can't afford to waste too much energy. Most of the time throughout the year, they just wait, ready to attack with their fearsome jaws containing more than 70 teeth. Crocodiles share their habitat with hippos. In the Masai Mara, there are especially large numbers of hippos. These